Okay, so this is a quick tour of TextExpander. This is the Mac app, but it exists also on Windows. You can create like folders and categories for your snippets just for you, and then you can also get access to public repositories and of different snippets. So you see I have a bunch of things. For instance, for artificial intelligence, I have a universal LLM prompt. And this is a good example of what separates TextExpander from the native text replacement from Apple, for instance, that you can get on iPhone and iPad and Mac and so on, is that you can create placeholders. So like, for instance, this is a placeholder for some text, and you also have what are called optional places, so optional sections, and you can define whether they are included by default or not, so that whenever you fire or when you trigger a text replacement snippet, you will see some of the things are ticked, and if you don't want something to be expanded, you just untick, or you leave it unticked if it is not by default. And I can also show a quick. So this is what it would look like if I wanted to do it, right? You act now as and then I would enter the role, special expert, specialized in, and then your first task will be 2, and then this is a list where you can choose a bunch of options, a bunch of actions, and then the thing that you want that you type, and then background information. Either you enter manually a sentence or you copy paste information. Same thing with supporting document. And then what is nice is when you have those placeholders like the action, you can copy paste and it will reuse exactly the same thing that you've selected up there. So if I selected generate, it will write generate here. And same thing, the thing that you want, because it's a copy of the same placeholder, whatever I typed here will be already pre-typed there, down there. Same thing here, right? Go ahead and generate the thing you want. So these are the, so if I click on the type of action, this is what you can choose from. This is one type of a little bit more advanced, or things that you can do more. But I have even better than that for invoicing, for instance. So this is my English invoice. You can put like pressing the tab key. So in this case, I would put the cursor in the subject line of the email. It could be in Gmail, could be, well, it needs to be in a software that understands that when you press the tabulation key, it goes someplace else. So typically in Gmail, when you are in the subject line, if you do tab the tabulation key, it will go down to the body of the email. So that allows me with just one single snippet to pre-fill the subject line and then start filling the body of the text. So I have my default template, right? EasyTech invoice, and then I choose, all my invoice has always the year dash and then a number. So that's gonna pre-fill automatically, in this case, 2025. Dash, I will enter the invoice number, covering, and then I will explain what the invoice covers. Same thing as earlier, right? The invoice number will be repeated there and there, and what it covers will be repeated there. So I just have to type it once. Say good morning, and then I write the client. I just have to write the amount of the invoice, and then automatically it knows the account number and so on. And so that's another big feature of TextExpander. It knows dates. You can even do calculations on dates. I don't know if I have an example for that. but basically it's possible to calculate. For instance, it will take 2 days dates and it will do plus 30 days automatically. I have a bunch of Calendly snippets, so it knows the beginning of the Calendly, but then there is also a way in Calendly to pre-fill the first name, last name, and email address, so that when somebody clicks on a link to book an appointment, once they choose the slot, they don't even have to enter their first name, last name, email address. It will be pre-filled for them. And that I've done also with TextExpander. Something else I'm using, because I'm providing remote training for large corporations, and I do breaks. And so I have found on YouTube videos with already like timers. I have a 15-minute timer, a 20-minute timer, a 10-minute timer. So whenever I need to share that in Zoom or in any tool, I type dash the number of minutes, MT for minute timer, and automatically it pre-fills that YouTube URL, and automatically I have the right one. So yeah, something that is also useful, and I will go to the Macpreneur thing, and I will take this one. So for instance, this is a prompt for AI that will help me find a hook based on a source. And in this case, the source could be either the outline or the transcript. So this is a pop-up menu. So whenever I will trigger the snippet, I will be able to pick in a list between outline and transcript. By default, transcript will be the one chosen. So if I don't do anything, it will do transcript, but I could then switch afterwards to outline. This is again an optional section, but then notice here, this is the clipboard. So basically what I do is either I copy the outline in the clipboard or I copy the entire transcript of the episode. And then I fire up the snippet. I choose, if I need to, I change the source, and automatically the full transcript will be there. So I just don't even need to do copy paste. I don't need to paste. I just need to copy into the clipboard, and whatever is in the clipboard will be automatically pasted alongside the snippet. So yeah, that's really another useful thing. So for AI, obviously, text expansion is great. But when I do outreach for the guests on Podmatch, I have also a bunch of things with pick list and stuff like that. And yeah, so for me, it's a huge time saver. And you might be wondering how much of a time saver it is. Well, these are my personal statistics. So for the past 12 months, so 1 year, I've expanded more than 4,200 snippets. So that's more than 10 per day, right? 365 days a year. So more than 10. And rumble about how much time I have saved. Well, I have saved 184 hours. So that's a few days, right? Basically, I have what was it? 8 days? Yeah. 8 24-hour days saved using TextExpander. And yeah. And this time saved is based on assumption that I type with 50 words per minute. Yeah, so in a nutshell, yeah, that's TextExpander. It's a paid app. For me, it's an expense. It's not an expense. It's an investment. It's a return on investment is huge on that one, and also it's available on Mac and Windows, but also on iPhone. I don't know for Android actually, But yeah, it's multi-platform, and yeah, I could not live without that.